I want to make money, right? And that's my goal, right? I'm not going to hide that. It's all about, for me, if I'm going to buy Bitcoin here in 5 years, I want Bitcoin at 100K, whatever it may be, and I'm going to make a lot of money that way. So if we get in regulation that makes it less decentralized, but it gets me to 100K on Bitcoin in 5 years or less, I'm probably okay with that. What I wouldn't be okay with is 2022 saw the end of money printing. I mean, even 2021, but it was late 2021. And basically, what you saw is that when you take away the free money from the system, crypto assets had gotten way too high too fast. And so there's this what I've called the deleveraging event, which has lasted the entire 2022 year, which is less money, more fear. And that again causes these reactions with price just continually going lower. So I think really deleveraging is the one term I would use for the crypto space in 2022. I think 2023, the
2021 was a year when cryptocurrency exploded in the mainstream, but as soon as 2022 started, it dropped drastically and kept creating lower lows until now. Two of the biggest questions we get here at the Daily Crypto are when Bitcoin reveals its bottom and when we can expect a price flip. Today's video will answer that, what happened in 2022, and what's coming in the next 2 years. In addition, Gareth Soloway will make another colossal Bitcoin price prediction today and give a ton of value with his opinion on what's happening. So please pay close attention until the end. Today's video is a powerful one. First, we need to deal with the elephant in the room, FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried.
I mean, really earth-shattering type stuff going on there. I mean, so many investors losing money, and we're not talking about just small investors. There was big money involved with investments in FTX, and obviously they're going to probably get zero back as well. So I think if there's anything positive to take from this, and this is definitely not a great thing, but the positive would be is that it's going to force the regulators to get some framework out to create transparency. And the biggest thing for crypto is that after FTX, there's no one with big money that is going to come into the crypto sector until there's regulation. So as bad as regulation, as much as we don't want over regulation, we need some sort of kind of framework that creates more transparency. So investors, when you put your money on an exchange, you shouldn't have to worry if it'll vanish tomorrow. That should not even be a thought. The only thing you should be worrying about is your investment in Bitcoin or Ethereum going to go up or down? So I think that's the key. I think in general, this is the beginning of the final leg down in crypto. We're still going to go lower. I have it priced to go maybe down to 9,000, 10,000, but I think this will be the final flush. I think that when we bottom out, it will be a combination of regulation that gets us out, as that will draw big money into the space. I do think that there will be more entities that go bankrupt. I'm looking at FTX as being kind of the biggest of them out there. So I think that you'll have a lot of ancillary, companies that are smaller that had investments with FTX. Last week we heard about Genesis and some of these other ones. So I do think that there will be more bankruptcies, but my guess is, and my hope is that FTX was the biggest. And this is kind of, to me, this is the Lehman Brothers event. If you go back to 2008, during the financial crisis, Lehman Brothers went bankrupt. It shook the world of investors, but ultimately it was the beginning of the end. You flushed for about 6 more months in the stock market before putting in an epic bottom. And from that bottom in the stock market, we went up hundreds of percentage points to the all-time highs that we saw in 2021. To be honest, I don't know enough about him to pass judgment. I think that, the question is, did he know what he was doing was seriously wrong? Or was he in this position to where he thought he was invincible and he would just be able to maneuver these assets and get out? And then obviously during a bear market, kind of the issues show up and it creates the catastrophic collapse. So again, it's really tough to see, but I think the bottom line is anyone that's a custodian for billions and billions of dollars needs to build their team correctly around them, where they actually know the legalities of it. They know the rules. They know what they need to do. And it doesn't seem like he was doing that. And I think that's the major issue. So he needs to be held accountable. There's no doubt about it. He 100% needs to be held accountable. If he was misappropriating funds, then there absolutely has to be repercussions for that. And again, I'm sure that the Attorney General is looking into that. And I'm sure, listen, if there's one thing I know is that the government wants to make a case against the crypto industry to kind of make it like the poster child for don't do this again. So I fully believe that there will be repercussions here. My guess is the district attorney is just building that case. They want it to be a dead-on case before they start, taking it to the next level.
But with all that in mind, where is Gareth Soloway leaving his money?
If you leave money on an exchange, what exchange is the exchange you want to leave it on? I would generally, and I'll tell you this, I have money on Coinbase. Another one is Kraken. Kraken supposedly gets audited 2 times a year. Coinbase is a publicly traded company, so you would assume that they're held to a higher standard because of the SEC's involvement. So, it's very risky right now to be having money on an exchange, but I will admit that I do have money on Coinbase, and I feel a little bit safer by doing that because they are a publicly traded company under the umbrella of the SEC.
Now, many people, mostly those curious about cryptocurrency, not people like us who are investing and trading it, are asking if crypto is finally dead. Look what Gareth has to say and what crypto has the chance to survive.
Crypto's not dead. Now, a lot of projects will go under. I think that, again, funding for projects is going to dry up. I think that people are going to become much more selective in a bear market right now in what they invest in. But ultimately, I still think Ethereum survives. I think Bitcoin survives. And I'm sure there's a handful of other coins that have major use cases that will survive. So I think that, again, one of the things, and we saw this in 2018 and 19 after the 2017 big bull run, is that everyone was saying, when it was trading, when Bitcoin went back to 3,500, oh, Bitcoin's done, crypto's over. That's actually what I look for to tell me that we're getting close to a bottom. It's not a bottom yet. I want to be very cautious on that. I still think Bitcoin's going down further, but like I said earlier, this is the beginning of the last flush. I think, again, flush down to 10, maybe 9, and then I think there you start to put in a bottom. 100 or under. I think that would be the proper amount. And I think, you're going to have ones that are used in the financial industry. You're going to have the Ethereums. You're going to probably have Polkadot, Cardano, some of those that have real good use cases with things built on top of them. But I would say 100 or under when all is said and done.
And how about his Bitcoin price prediction? What can we expect to happen next?
So for me, it's really looking more and more. So there's going to be major support around 12 to 13,000. But I do think it even breaks that and probably gets to about 9,000. I'll show my chart here to give us all kind of a basis of the thought process here. So number one, with Bitcoin, if we look at the comparisons between Lehman Brothers collapse and FTX, there was about 5 to 6 months where it took for it to bottom. The stock market, the S&P, dropped about 45% further once after Lehman Brothers announced. And so by doing that math, it comes out to be about $9,000 where Bitcoin would bottom, and that would be a bottom in around May of 2023. And then the other interesting thing is if you zoom out on the chart, if you look at a trend line going back to before the 2017 bull run, the lows of the bear market in 2018, the lows of COVID here in 2020, there's a trend line that comes here. There's a downsloping one from this pivot to this pivot, and they both kind of coordinate right underneath $9,000. It's really not that far away. Percentage-wise, yes, it's a decent percentage drop from here. But I mean, when you think about Bitcoin at 69,000 to 16, and now you're talking about 16 to 9. I mean, it's literally like comparatively that tiny of a move. So as a bull long term on crypto and on Bitcoin, I'm excited. I'm like, okay, now we're getting close to the bottom, hopefully. We're so used to Bitcoin going down when the stock market goes down. And during a recession, if things are going to get worse, like I think, then the stock market is going to continue to go down because earnings are going to suffer. So in terms of valuation, stocks need to adjust down. What I'm thinking is that once we get transparency and regulation in the crypto space, you're likely going to see this pivot where Bitcoin becomes much more gold-like. And what we know about gold is that when there's uncertainty in the economy, when things get scary, people love to go to gold as a safe haven. So I'm guessing that Bitcoin will have that pivot in 2023 where it actually starts to do better. Even when the stock market drops, you might see buyers, institutional buyers, going to the safe haven of Bitcoin. Now, we still have a long way to go to get there because you need regulation, you need transparency, you need trust. But I do think that will probably happen in 2023.
Gareth says that we still need transparency and regulation on crypto. So the pivot comes in 2023, and Bitcoin becomes the safe haven everyone thinks it is. So if BTC's vision is to have a decentralized form of money and wealth that no one controls, especially governments, how will regulation affect it?
So for me, and this is always the tricky thing is like, will the government overregulate? Well, we know from history, generally they do a little bit. My hope is they don't do it too much because obviously you don't want to stifle the expansion of cryptocurrency and how good it can be with the blockchain and everything like that. But I think that for the most part, it's kind of a double-edged sword because without any regulation, no institutional money is going to come into the space. And when I think about it, I'm like, okay, pension funds have trillions of dollars. Institutions have trillions of dollars. If they were just to take, let's say, 3% of their assets and say, okay, we're going to diversify into Bitcoin, Bitcoin's $500,000, maybe $1 million per coin, right? But if they overregulate, does that take a little away? It might. But again, to me, it's like, well, which is the worst, the lesser of the evils? And for me, it's regulation. I would rather have regulation than no regulation because let's be honest, human nature, unfortunately, we've seen it again with Sam Bankman-Fried. You can't trust without like strict audits. You can't trust. There needs to be audits at least twice a year, maybe quarterly audits of these places so that we actually know what's on the books and what's being done. I want to make money, right? And that's my goal, right? I'm not going to hide that. It's all about, for me, if I'm going to buy Bitcoin here in 5 years, I want Bitcoin at 100K, whatever it may be, and I'm going to make a lot of money that way. So if we get in regulation that makes it less decentralized, but it gets me to 100K on Bitcoin in 5 years or less, I'm probably okay with that. What I wouldn't be okay with is regulation that actually causes a hurt to the prices of these crypto assets.
What about opportunities? Are there any others Gareth is looking at right now?
I mean, that's the key, right? Is that, and I'll go on record. I always say this, is that in bear markets, you get some of your best opportunities. So for instance, there were people buying Bitcoin at 65,000. That wasn't a good opportunity. We obviously see that. Bear markets create the best opportunities. You now have Bitcoin trading at 16,000. I think it might even be in the high 15s by now. So I think you're looking at those type of things you want to be involved in. For me, for instance, I'm a big gold bug, as I said. I also am a big fan of foreign markets right now. I think Brazil is an interesting stock market. It's been consolidating for a long period of time. I think that could be a breakout. And I actually think that now that President Xi in China has been reelected, it does look like he might be starting to soften his hard line a little bit, which then could make the Chinese stocks very, very attractive. Now, there's obviously risks in investing in foreign markets for sure, but to me, it's proper allocation, right? Take a little bit of money there, a little bit of money there, and then have a well-diversified portfolio. For me, I'm now mostly avoiding US stocks unless it's for a quicker swing trade.
And finally, why has 2022 been such a bear year? And what's happening in 2023 and 2024?
So 2022 saw the end of money printing. I mean, even 2021, but it was late 2021. And basically what you saw is that when you take away the free money from the system, crypto assets had gotten way too high too fast. And so there's this what I've called the deleveraging event, which has lasted the entire 2022 year, which is less money, more fear. And that again causes these reactions with price just continually going lower. So I think really deleveraging is the one term I would use for the crypto space in 2022. I think 2023, the term will be a bottom, bottoming. And then hopefully in 2024, we see a big bull market reemerge.
We hope this video was valuable for you, either the Bitcoin price prediction made by Gareth or his analysis on these topics. Let us know what you think about this in the comments below, and please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow with more daily crypto.